How do you make the most of going to a real estate investing conference? That's exactly what we're talking about today. I'm Seth Ferguson, and if you're a fan of the channel, you'll notice I'm not standing in front of the whiteboard. The reason is I've literally been living at my desk, preparing and working on the Multifamily Conference that's coming up May 14th and 15th. And that happens to be the subject of today's video. How do you actually make the most of going to these real estate events, and how do you squeeze every ounce of value out of these events? Because you're paying for the ticket, you probably have a flight, or you're driving, you have hotel, you have your time. So you want to make sure when you're going to these types of things that you're actually getting the maximum amount of value out of it. And that's what we are covering today. And like I said, the Multifamily Conference, that's coming up very, very soon, May 14th and 15th in Toronto. Like if you are coming to this event, hopefully you are, or if you're going to another real estate investing conference, there are some really key things that you can do to make sure you're maximizing your time there and your effort. These types of in-person events are crucial. I call face-to-face networking the foundation of real estate. It's all about relationships. And I think we've really suffered the past couple of years during the lockdowns. Everybody was doing things over Zoom. And, I've done a ton of interviews over Zoom. I've done a ton of investor calls over Zoom. And it doesn't even come close to being face-to-face with somebody, feeling the energy, the vibe, the nonverbal communication. There's so much more that you can pick up on, and you actually end up having way better conversations when you're there in person. I think Zoom and all this virtual stuff is fine. Like it was like a band-aid solution, but it's time we got back to actually building real connections with people. And I think that's why when we launched the Multifamily Conference in the middle of the pandemic, I was adamant about making sure the Multifamily Conference was in person again, because it is such a cornerstone of real estate. Like real estate is a business all about relationships. So I'm so passionate about getting people back in person, and you have no idea how thrilled I am to actually be back networking and meeting everybody, and lots of people. Whether you're on the channel or I know you through some other places. It'll be so nice to actually meet people in real life, because a lot of people I have never even met. I haven't even we've chatted a little bit. We've done things over Zoom, but we've never actually been there face to face. So I think that's a huge opportunity. Whenever I go to a real estate investing event, I have a couple things on my mind. I have a set hit list of people I want to meet. So let's say I'm looking to get into a new market. Well, let's use that as an example. I'm going to make it my mission to actually find about 5 people who are experts in that market. Now, depending on the size, you may have more, you may have less, but I always want to, some people go to these events and they just do like the pray and spray approach. They hand out a whole bunch of business cards, but if you have 200 not so good conversations, the lasting impact of those conversations is negligible. I would much rather have a handful of very solid, purposeful conversations, and then follow up on those conversations after the fact. And I think that's the number one mistake people make when they're doing a networking at real estate events, which is, I think, the main reason you go to meet people and make new connections and partnerships, is they meet somebody at the conference and nobody calls the other person, and then 6 months goes by and you forget what the other person does, and it doesn't even ring a bell anymore. So if I'm going to the Multifamily Conference coming up in a couple weeks, I would be going with a set hit list. So take a look at your business, take a look at what you want to do, and ask yourself, who do I need to have on my team? Who do I need to meet? Who do I have to partner with to hit my goals? And then just write down a list. Take a pad of paper right here like this, and write down your weaknesses, the spots you need to fill on your team. And then you go out and start having those conversations. And you're just looking for a handful of people. You're quality over quantity, because with quality people, you can follow up. You can call them after the event. You can send them a note. You can send them a small gift. You can do some things that have a lasting impact. Just sending an email, I don't really everybody sends emails. I would rather send a handwritten note. Hey, pleasure meeting you. Really enjoyed our conversation about X. Looking forward to continuing this at another time, blah, 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 here's my phone number, etc. It's those small touches that have a lasting impact. So just think to yourself, okay, I've met these people, you're going to be keeping notes. So after you have a great conversation, you've got your phone, put a couple notes, like, the person's likes, dislikes, some things you talked about. So that way, when you're following up, you can actually refer back to those things, and then that can help jog the person's memory because they've probably spoken with a number of people. And it also means that you're on the ball. Like, you talk with somebody, and then you're a week later when you're following up, you're sending a note, whatever it is. You can list specific details. That leaves a very good impression. So I would strongly suggest that you do something like that. Have a follow-up plan for those quality people that you meet. And then my second tip is I kind of merged the first two tips together. So it was quality over quantity, and then have a follow-up plan. And the third tip I would say is be open to serendipitous conversations. Networking on Zoom, you're kind of stuck, exactly who you're going to meet, and you have that set game plan. But the beautiful thing about these live events and being there in person is you can be standing, waiting in line for some food. You can be hanging out somewhere and just strike up a conversation with somebody. And I've always been amazed at those serendipitous conversations and how amazing they can be and how they can actually lead to something really cool if you're just open to having them. And myself, some people think I'm a very outgoing, charismatic person, but deep on the inside, I would rather be in a room by myself reading a book. So I actually force myself to go out and speak with people. You have to do that. And one thing that's really helpful is just think to yourself, like, if I don't go up and talk with this person, or if I don't go up and introduce myself, I'm just holding myself back, because that could be the next conversation. That could be the next deal, partnership. That could be the next investor. You have no idea unless you actually go up and ask. So one thing I do is I place myself in situations where I actually have to go up and do things and speak with people. So if I'm going into a room and I don't know anybody, well, guess what? I can't sulk in the corner. I actually have to go out and start making a conversation. So when I go to lots of events, I usually go solo just for that specific reason. But it's also great if you go to these events with a group, you guys can split up. Just don't keep to yourselves, because nobody's expanding your network that way. So if you are going to the Multifamily Conference with friends, just make sure when you're there, you're not talking with each other. It's great to catch up and stuff and talk about all the cool things that are happening, but make sure you're expanding your network, because it's your network that's actually going to further your portfolio growth and your own personal growth. So those are 3 key tips. And you'll notice that I didn't talk about business cards or having the prettiest stationery. That doesn't matter. Just go out, have quality conversations. Have a hit list, write it down in advance so you're very, very clear, and then you can even check it off at night. So the Multifamily Conference is a 2-day event. So after the Saturday, when you're back in your hotel room, go through your list, check off who you met, make your notes, and then for the Sunday, you know exactly who else you have to meet. So maybe you hit 3/4 of your list. Now you have to find specific people there that will help further your business. You have to have a list. You have to be organized with this so you can stay focused. If you're just going there and praying and spraying, like I said, you're not going to have success. So quality over quantity, be focused on who you want to meet, have that follow-up plan, and then you have to be out there. You have to introduce yourself. You have to have those conversations. Be open to meeting somebody new that you maybe didn't expect to speak with, because you will be surprised at how many cool people you meet. And the last thing I'll leave you with is, every conference, I always say, there's at least one deal in that room for you. It's up to you to find it, though. So just have in your mind, there's one deal in here for me. Maybe somebody has a lead on a property. Maybe somebody else is working on a property and they need a partner. There's always one deal at every single event you go to. So especially at the Multifamily Conference, because we've got so many people coming. It's going to be a lot of fun. So Kevin O'Leary's there. Spoke with Kevin last week. He's very excited for his keynote presentation on the Saturday night. We've got some other great speakers. Joe Fairless, he's at almost $2 billion in apartments. Pierre Paul Turgeon, the underwriting specialist. You name it. Like we've got every single aspect of the multifamily business covered with our top tier, like seriously, first class speaker lineup. So hope to see everybody at the Multifamily Conference. And I will leave you with a special message from Mr. Wonderful himself. I'll see you in a couple weeks at the conference.
Hi, Mr. Wonderful here, and I'll be speaking at the Multifamily Conference May 14th, live and in person in Toronto. If you're looking to develop and raise more capital, do bigger deals, and scale your portfolio, you can't afford to miss the Multifamily Conference. This conference is bringing real estate investors together from across North America, live and in person, so you can make the connections and build the relationships that will take your investing to the next level. Don't wait to reserve your seat now, and I'll see you at the Multifamily Conference, live and in person in Toronto, Canada, May 14th. It's great to say that again.